In a secret third-floor loft, on a quiet lower Manhattan corner, not far from the Hudson River, is a rising sex club, a club many tried to enter, but only 5% succeed. A place where some of your favorite media and entertainment personalities gather. Some are famous, some are very famous, all under a heavy cloud of pot smoke and soft red LED lights. Couples and groups chatting, some dancing and others doing much more. In just a few years, the club has become the destination for what the establishment calls adventure seekers. From the general concept to the most intricate details, this club is like no other. How does this mysterious club operate? What happens between its walls? And what sets it apart from the rest? In this video, we take you inside one of the most unusual clubs in New York. We take you inside NSFW. Emily is a 29-year-old writer for a New York talk show. She comes home from work, says hi to her aspiring actor roommate, fills a glass with expensive red wine, and sits on the couch of her 12 by 16-foot art-filled living room. She notices what seems to be a fancy paper invitation letter that is slid under the door. She opens the letter, which read,
"Long before Easter became synonymous with the return of Christ, it was the festival of Eostre, a Germanic goddess of the dawn. A celebration of the return of the sun, the festival is noted for signs of birth. Bunnies, eggs, and chickies are a common sign of this equinox celebration."
Emily puts the letter down and hurries to get dressed. You see, Emily is not as vanilla as she looks. She's been to every private club in New York, but she didn't like most of them. But for some reason, she became addicted to NSFW. That's the New Society for Wellness, which advertises itself as a private social club for the open and adventurous, and feels more fancy than sleazy. As the invitation says, your sexiest Easter outfit, Emily puts on her favorite tight dress, long white gloves, and a pair of bunny ears, all under her black latex long coat, and heads to the event. She jumps out of the Uber, past a velvet rope, and greets the bouncer, up a steep flight of concrete stairs, illuminated by a big LED sign that says, "Send nudes." She's greeted by something the club calls a nymph, an attractive half-naked girl in a silver harness. The nymph's job is to cater to the club's guests and give newcomers a long speech about consent and whatnot, which translates to the simple instruction of, don't be a creep. The nymph reminds Emily of the night's schedule, a couple of hours of mingling, a late-night performance, and of course, the climaxes. Emily pops an Altoid and enters the loft. At a time when the media and entertainment industries are still working out how to navigate sexual relations in a post-Weinstein era, 39-year-old former fashion executive Daniel Santiago, or Daniel Saynt as he likes to call himself, thought it was a good idea to open a sex club in the heart of New York. The club has managed to accumulate thousands of paying members so far, making it one of the most sought-after private clubs on the East Coast. If you want to join the club's membership, you will have to go through a long 6-month application, in which only 5% of applicants get accepted. It's like applying for Yale or Harvard. But luckily for Emily, she scored high on the club's 14-point attractiveness evaluation scale, an evaluation that involves looks, career, friends, social media influence, and more. As soon as she enters, she finds herself among around 50 people in a maze of 16 rooms. The further you go through the rooms, the freakier things get. It's like one of those Freemasons level-up rituals. Some rooms are brick-walled, dressed as a jail cell or a doctor's office. Others are behind locked doors in private that cost up to $1,000 a night. Another one resembles a porn shoot studio. Da Vinci-inspired paintings, and the list goes on. Different vibes for different tastes. Emily is in the first room, the beginner-friendly space. She takes a seat on a red leather couch next to a group of millennials playing Dirty Jenga. Across from her, there's a popcorn machine, portraits of naked women, sexual affirmational quotes on the walls, condoms, tissues, and of course, a human-sized cage. It's still quite early, so the guests are still arriving one by one in costumes, mostly Roman-inspired with a Playboy touch to them. Guests must follow the event's costume inspiration ideas, which is usually a link on the club's website that takes you to a Pinterest board with multiple stock photos representing the dress code for the event. Soft, clubby music in the background, marijuana smoke covering the upper half of the room, and people mingling and playing board games. Until now, nothing freaky or sexual, just a bunch of people in costumes breaking the ice. That is, until the nymph screams, "It's showtime." Emily takes the hand of a guy she played Jenga with earlier, and everyone starts to move slowly to the bedroom space, or what looks like a king's court. Things are about to get serious. But before that, how did this whole thing come about? Who randomly thinks, I'm just gonna start a sex club? Just a few years back, Saynt, the founder, or chief conspirator as he calls himself, was working in marketing and trend forecasting with his digital agency. As a hardcore party boy, he's always been heavily involved with New York's nightlife scene. That was the time when Rudy Giuliani was the city's mayor. Giuliani took firm actions against many of the city's bars, music venues, and private clubs, either limiting their activities or completely shutting them down. Depending on who you ask, some would say he cleaned up the city, while others might say he destroyed it. But Saynt is very good at adapting to tough situations. He started having people over to his apartment, first close friends, then friends of friends. He called them gatherings of 10 to 15 people, where they would smoke weed, discuss sexuality, and talk polyamory. But I don't think there was much talking involved in those gatherings. For the people who attended these parties, it wasn't just a place where they could practice their interests with like-minded people, but also a good opportunity to avoid awkwardness with their roommates. On the other hand, for Saynt, these gatherings were a proof of concept.
I knew that this was the next trend. After gay marriage and cannabis, people would want space for sex. And I thought, someone is going to make $1 billion from it, and it might as well be me.
To upgrade his apartment gatherings, Saynt took a temporary space in Brooklyn. He quickly reached 1,000 members, charging about $2,700 a year. Women are charged less, couples more. He quickly outgrew that space and opened his first clubhouse in Manhattan. The club currently hosts 1,800 active paying members, but membership is not the only way the club makes money. During the daytime, the club acts as a content studio for adult film stars, a place where adult performers shoot their content with the help of the club's videography team. They also sell merch and even launched their coin, Dollar Lover, cashing into crypto like everyone else, with ambitions to become the next WeWork, but the adult version. Recently, Saynt managed to raise $500,000 in funding on a $6 million valuation and is currently branching out to other cities in the US, and even outside the country, like Paris. Back at the party, Emily takes a seat with her new acquaintance at the end of one of the beds. Surprisingly, the mattresses are quite soft and dry. The performance involves a Jesus impersonator on a cross and 2 other girls in see-through dresses. They sprinkle the club's version of holy water on the audience and start spanking the Jesus impersonator, plus some other stuff that we can't show or talk about for obvious reasons. Soon later, things start to heat up. The music gets louder and clubbier to cover the moaning and spanking sounds. All the beds in the King's Court are full of people. Some are watching, while others are doing a lot more. In the meantime, one could wonder, is this even legal? To answer that question, Saynt says he embraces the gray and is not worried about being shut down since he doesn't serve alcohol. He only serves non-alcoholic cannabis cocktails. New York City Council member Raphael Espinal said,
"So long as people are not being exploited, sex clubs should be legal. People don't move to New York for the housing opportunities. They move here for the energy and for the nightlife."
Eventually, the lights come on and Frank Sinatra's My Way starts playing. Some of the guests head to the showers, others to the door. The night has come to an end. Between morality, freedom, and privacy, NSFW is not your average private club. This is the first time a sex club is being seen as a tech company. With a multiple 7-figure valuation, thousands of members, and an ambitious founder or chief conspirator, will we witness the birth of an adult industry giant? Or will another sex scandal pop out and put an end to Saynt's plans of becoming a billionaire? A question only time can answer. In the meantime, consider subscribing because we have a lot in store for you.